Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the Game Awards because they just announced their 50 different categories they do every single year, from best esports team to best ongoing project. But I wanted to talk about the categories people actually care about. Best narrative, game of the year, best multiplayer, because instantly, right after sort of announcing it, it's being met with a lot of mostly confusion, I guess, because a lot of people just think that a lot of games like Arc Raiders aren't getting enough love, and some stuff, maybe like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, people are shocked by the amount of love it's getting. But I want to talk about the categories to me that sort of interest me and sort of just look at the controversy. Well, let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I've mentioned this every single year I stream the Game Awards, and let's face it, most people watch the Game Awards not even for the awards or the cool speeches, which personally I like a lot. A lot of times it's for the announcements, you know, cool new trailers, world reveal, exclusive. But I think part of the problem of the Game Awards is the fact that it has like 80 billion categories that just to me don't really make sense. Nominees in innovation and accessibility. What does this even mean? And how is Doom the Dark Ages part of that? So many of these just to me don't make sense. But let's begin with the one people are the most excited about. The one that people discuss the most often, which is Game of the Year. Now, if you're one of the people that says the Game Awards don't matter, I mean, technically it does. Not only does it get tens of millions of views, provably, historically, whatever wins Game of the Year here, typically it goes on to be a game that sells a lot for years to come. But look at this category. So by far, the strangest part about this that a lot of people are discussing, because this has never happened before in the decade of the Game Awards, is that half of them are full-blown indies. Not just partial indies, not an independent studio that has an overhead publisher. These are indies that are self-funded, self-published, self-everything. Hades 2, completely solo. Hollow Knight, completely solo. Even Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, as big as that game is, completely self-funded. This is interesting to me because I think it shows the fact that, to me, this signals two things at once. One, the fact that this shows how good these games are, the fact that so many of the judges voted for them, and I think it also kind of signals how much I think a lot of people are bored by a lot of AAA. I mean, a lot of the biggest games this year, like Arc Raiders, as I previously mentioned, they're tiny independent projects. They're passion projects by developers that a lot of times are very unknown. You know, they're made by people that just wanted to do something different and cool and are getting recognized for doing something different and cool. But let's talk about this, because even Clair Obscur is actually pretty dang indie. It's very, very strange. Very close to the end of the development is when Kepler Interactive stepped in and helped them fund it. But, so let me just say, I think all these games deserve to be here. I did not like Donkey Kong Bananza very much. This to me, man, so I've reviewed all these games. I gave this a 10 out of 10. I gave this a 10 out of 10. I gave this a 10 out of 10. And I think I gave this like a 9.5. So Hollow Knight, Hollow Knight is also fantastic. It's hard to say. I do think Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is just going to sweep. I think this is going to be just at every single category. Here, what I want to do, they literally just posted this. I want to refresh right here while we're recording and see what a lot of the top replies are. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a W. Joseph right now. Shroud, look, Arc Raiders. So a lot of people were saying there was this big debate before this got announced. Shroud is one of the biggest streamers in the world. He was basically saying that there needs to be separate categories for fully single-player Game of the Year and fully multiplayer Game of the Year. And it did start this debate that, honestly, I'm sort of on the side of that. But we do have a best multiplayer category. We're going to take a look at that in a second. Look at this. I want you to vote for Donkey Kong Bananza. Expedition 33. Silksong. I mean, it's great. How did they make money this far? That's funny. Death Stranding 2. I mean, it's actually impressive. It's impressive that there is just so much actual good quality games that a lot of publishers probably wouldn't even think were marketable a year ago, and now they're on the Game of the Year list. I even was looking at this. Here was a bunch of people actually being like, no split fiction. The fact that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 even made the list, despite that it was actually released in January. A lot of times games that come out in the first 3 months of the year, a lot of times they don't get as many Game of the Award nominations because people sort of forget about them. They call it recency bias. No Arc Raiders, no Ghost of Yōtei. To me, that's the biggest surprise to me, right? Now, I wanted to take a look at this. Best multiplayer. Some of the categories I feel like the ones I hate the most are best community, because, I mean, that always seems like such a strange category, and every single year, honestly, it's the same games of like Diablo and Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft. But this is one I feel like is interesting because every year it is so different. Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Nightreign, Peak, and Split Fiction. I don't think that Split Fiction should be here. Just in the fact that even though that is co-op, I guess I don't think about it as a multiplayer game. It's more like a multiplayer narrative. I don't know. It just doesn't feel multiplayer in the way that all these others are, right? I think that I have played a lot of all these games. I've never played Peak. I've never even seen Peak, to be honest, but I've played a heck of a ton. I think I've played 50 hours of Nightreign. I've played about 70 hours of Battlefield 6. I've played about 20 hours of Arc Raiders, and I've played about 20 hours of Split Fiction. But even in that 20 hours, I'm going to say that for me, I think Battlefield 6 is the best game here. I want to give it that. I think that Arc Raiders deserves it, because even in that 20 hours I've played of Arc Raiders, this game is unique. It's fantastic. It's bold. It's hard. I think that Arc Raiders deserves, like, when I think of best multiplayer, I specifically think, okay, what is a game that is differently amazing? What is it that is a 2025 masterpiece? That's Arc Raiders completely, right? What was the next category? Best role-playing game. So this to me was so funny, right? Best role-playing game. We have a bunch of games that now are basically mostly hated on Steam. If you look at the reviews, Monster Hunter Wilds had the hardest fall-off of any Monster Hunter game ever. It went super popular to absolutely unplayed pretty much instantly, because they basically took a lot of the grind out. A lot of times the fun of Monster Hunter Wilds is those chase items of having to do a boss 50 times to get those tiny crafty materials and slowly upgrade yourself. Whereas Monster Hunter Wilds made it where you could do everything incredibly quick. And the Monster Hunter community hated that. They hated the fact that there wasn't a fun sense of cohesive grind together. Instead, it was like, here's your reward, here's your reward. So it's interesting that putting it here as best role-playing game seems sort of silly to me. Avowed as well. When's the last time you even heard somebody talk about Avowed? I'll be honest, I reviewed that game, and even I sort of forgot it came out this year, if I'm being honest. Obviously, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a good runner-up, but Expedition 33 is going to absolutely blow that out of the water. Now, this is funny. Best independent game. Look at all these independent games. God. Hades 2, Silksong, Clair, Obscur, Blueprints, Ball Pit, I've been very, very addicted to, and Absolem, I've seen people talking about this name all the time. I have no idea what this is, to be perfectly honest with you. To me, I think when I think best indie, I think Silksong's going to get it because it's such an iconic, crazy thing. The day that Silksong came out, and I hope this goes into the history books, every store crashed. Steam went down. Xbox went down. Nintendo Switch store went down. The PlayStation store went down. Every storefront went down for like 3 hours when this came out. Have you ever even heard of a game, especially an indie game that popular? Ghost of Yōtei didn't crash the store. Spider-Man didn't crash the store on PlayStation. This is a literal generational indie game. I'm glad it lived up to the hype, and the fact that it's getting its flowers is so cool to me. Best narrative. All right, now here's where this one to me is so hard, because it's best narrative is not just best writing to me. It's best story. God, this one is legitimately maybe the hardest category for me. I bawled my eyes out at Expedition 33. I really love the story of Ghost of Yōtei. I kind of want to give it to Silent Hill F. Specifically, I just feel like Silent Hill F, the story, its vibe, its extremely disturbing, flat presentation at times is genius. When I think best narrative, even though these games, a lot of these games, I'd say, honestly, I think all these have better stories. This felt like a narrative that could only be told by them in that way. I almost want to give it to Silent Hill F. I think Expedition 33 is still going to win it, and I think it deserves it. But to me, I almost kind of want to give Silent Hill F that, just because I wanted to win something, and we don't get to have best horror game, even though I would love that. The fact that we have like best esports game and all this other stuff, give us best horror game. If we have best fighting game and best family game, give us best horror game, right? Maybe that's just me, right? Horror game fanatic. Best performance. Now you'll notice a lot of these three of these games are all from Expedition 33. Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, and Jennifer English are the entire main cast of Expedition 33. That is hilarious. I mean, I'm going to go for Jennifer English. She is so good as Mael in Expedition 33. I do like Erika Ishii in Ghost of Yōtei and Troy Baker in Death Stranding 2. But to me, I mean, also, I'm going to go Ben Starr. Ben Starr is so good. Ben Starr actually follows me on Twitter. I ended up having a conversation with him about how good he played that role. And it was so fun that he got to be such another amazing good character. God, give that man the king of all RPGs title. My gosh. Now, this was the last one. I wanted to just have like a random one here for fun at the end, right? Nominees for Best Audio Design: Battlefield 6, Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Silent Hill F definitely deserves that. I don't want to do too many spoilers, but let's just say there's a lot of gooey moments. There's a lot of visceral moments in Silent Hill F that if you're playing that with headphones, you're going to have PTSD and never want to eat something goopy ever again. Honestly, looking at all these categories, as usual, a lot of them, in my opinion, kind of redundant, a lot of them kind of unneeded, but it is interesting. Sony, Sony Interactive Entertainment, 19 nominations. Kepler, 13 nominations. The fact that an indie studio is that much. Sega, 7, 10 for Electronic Arts. It's pretty impressive. Wow. Expedition 33 is just absolutely dominating this year. That is wild. How do you feel about that, though? What are your thoughts, especially on the game of the year, and what to you is the best game of 2025? Because to me, I think Expedition 33 is going to absolutely clean house. I'm going to tell you a quick 30-second story. Last night, I lived near a 7-Eleven. I walked over there. I always just walk there and get like a random drink or something if I'm bored, or get a protein shake. So I go there last night, and a freaking car crashed into the building. Not even the front glass. I hold the door for like this DoorDash delivery driver, and right as we're both walking in, all of a sudden the soda aisle explodes, and it was so loud, I thought a car blew up in the parking lot. I like, truly, it was so loud. They say fight, flight, or freeze. I froze. I had no idea what was happening. So this car hits the building, and it like punctured through the wall and knocks over the soda aisle. The soda just starts exploding and stuff like that. And I don't know what the heck to do. So I'm just like sitting there frozen. The car backs up and just drives off. And so I started saying, somebody take a picture of the plates. Like, holy crap, because the guy's driving off. And the 7-Eleven employee calmly goes, no need, we got it. Holds up the bumper. Their whole front bumper had been ripped off. It was like this big white champagne colored SUV. It had ripped off the front plates. So that person's definitely going to jail. But it was such a shocking moment to just have a car crash into the 7-Eleven. And then I got a giant egg burrito and I ate it. It was great. But the employees looked... Night shift 7-Eleven employees are so dead inside. They were so extremely calm. Like, we're calling the cops. Let me ring you up real quick. 7-Eleven, not sponsored, but my God, those people are dead inside. Oh yeah, like this video and subscribe.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.